All right, everyone. Donald Trump has come out and said he wants U.S. manufacturing back. The idea is you build factories and you actually produce things. And the left wing considers this to be insane. I think that's rather telling now, isn't it? I think that it's better to have an economy where you have a robust middle and working class, as opposed to having basically the haves and have-nots. It seems like the liberals want to create an economy in which 99% of the population is basically just there to flip burgers or change tires or something like that. And then the 1%, of course, benefits very greatly. People who are in skilled professions, and a doctor, lawyer, something like that. Politicians, of course, there's a reason for this. They want a population of haves and have-nots. The have-nots are supposed to live in the pod, eat the bugs, and so forth. And the haves are supposed to benefit from, their service work, basically. So they can go into McDonald's and they can get a hamburger or something like that. Interesting. Hmm, very telling. There's a reason for this. There are certain forces in this world, you will find out if you go down the rabbit hole, so to speak, that want to enslave the majority of mankind. They literally want to enslave them. There are a handful of people who are in the know who would rather not have that happen, who are fighting against them. We are very, very few. There are only a few of us that are fighting against this particular system. Here you have an example of exactly what we're talking about. We have people that are literally arguing against the concept of the United States public being able to manufacture its own goods. It's literally orange. It's not even Orange Man bad at that point. It's just a system of propaganda. Orange Man has become nothing more than a symbol of the propaganda that has been levied against the US public for decades and decades. This is a truth that people need to understand. Orange Man is simply the symbol. The system has been promulgated since roughly the 1970s, actually. It's been a very long time, unfortunately. Orange Man is simply the one fighting back against that system. So, of course, he's the villain. He's cast off as the enemy. He's uniquely terrible. And the whole system is trying to promulgate liberty. We're just trying to have the American way. But this one man is standing in our way. How terrible. In reality, he's the one that actually stands for the original Americanistic system, and the entire rest of the system is rotten to the core. Very, very strange. It actually goes to a psychological experiment. Learned about this when I was studying sociopolitics, and it was about I can't remember Abu Ghraib, I believe it was. And the idea was that you had two arguments. You had the rotten apple argument and you had the rotten barrel argument. The rotten barrel argument is basically that the entire system has been corrupted. And so all the apples, even if they were good to begin with, they begin corrupting themselves. The rotten apple argument, of course, was there are a few people that act out when they're given a position of power. The system itself is not the problem. Of course, I believe in the rotten barrel argument, and I believe that most others do. This is the system that we have in the United States. The whole system has become corrupted. And so even individuals that start out good, unless they have the means in order to avoid that, people like Trump or Musk, unless they have the means, they are necessarily going to be corrupted. Somebody enters Congress. That's well and good. Maybe as a junior member of Congress, they believe that they're going to do a good job. They believe that they're going to help people. They actually believe in what they were voted for. The problem is that they quickly find that everyone in Congress has lines of coke and booze under their desk, and it's a nonstop party zone. It's basically like a frat party, 24/7. Well, eventually they're probably going to take the fall, so to speak. And it becomes a problem because unfortunately these are the people that are supposed to be representing your ass. And then they go and they fuck up and they use drugs and shit like that and they get all wasted. And after they get wasted, of course, they can be bribed very easily. Oh shit, I just used, oh, didn't I? Well, that really sucks. And then they realize what they've done, but it's too late. They've been corrupted. So I believe in the rotten barrel argument. Trump is attempting to bring back United States manufacturing. He's facing stiff resistance against this simply because of the fact that people are saying, well, the iPhone will cost more. I've seen this argument so many times. Who gives a fuck about people who use Crapple products? Who gives a shit? Honestly, I don't give a shit anymore. Let them pay more for their fucking phone, as long as it's made in the United States. You think that the average Apple user, who's already overpaying for their phone anyway, is going to care about the fact that it costs a few $100s more? Oh, what a terrible sin. What a horrible thing. You're telling me this is basically their argument in a nutshell. Their argument is that the United States is incapable of manufacturing goods anymore. Well, you want a service economy. You want a decadent economy in which the rich are very, very rich, and then they go out and the service workers basically act as slaves. That's the economy that you're literally arguing for at the moment. I want an economy where the average American is capable of producing something, doing something meaningful, owning their own property, owning their own home, owning their own car. I want an economy in which the majority of Americans are doing reasonably well. They may not be in golden gilded halls or anything like that with, ivory towers, quite literally, and shit like that. But they will at least have their own place to be in space. They will at least have their own income. They will at least be working for themselves, and they will at least have dignity. That's the economy that I want. These people believe that the economy that they want is, I want to sit on, piles of gold, and then you can flip my burger for me and shit like that. Well, how many fucking burger flippers do you need? No offense to anyone that has to flip burgers for a living. That's not my intention at all. I'm just saying that you should have upward mobility. We don't have any right now. If you've gotten your foot in the door, you're doing okay. Like, I'm making a reasonable living, for example. There aren't many people that have fallen into that category. Most people are still just slumming around. They're basically slaves more than anything else. And it's not their own fault. It's not because they're not intelligent. It's not because they're not capable of working. It's because the system is working against them. And that's exactly what's happening here. And here we have it in black and white. I mean, they're literally they're literally arguing for that fucking kind of economy. It couldn't be more explicit. That's about all. Peace out.